This is Loggers and Loudmouths, Conversations Unfiltered.
Welcome, thinkers and drinkers, to episode 27 of Loggers and Loudmouths. We are on with a special guest today, a very special guest for Tyler. We'll get into that in a minute. But before we do that, this is Loggers and Loudmouths. So, Tyler, tell us what we are drinking today.
Yeah, today we are drinking Throwback from Thirlls Brewing Company out of Lexington, Kentucky. Not too much information on this beer according to Untappd, but it is a 4.8% Pilsner with a 3.57 rating on Untappd. I have not tried it yet.
I haven't either. It's got a cool can, though.
Yeah, it's got a, what's it got on there, Cam?
It's got a nice skull with some sort of, do you know what that symbol is, Cait?
Not sure.
I don't either, but it's so you'll understand why we're asking about the symbol in just a second. It goes along with our episode theme, but the skull is also very theme relevant. So, what do you think? Good?
Yeah, it's solid. A little bit of metallic-y on the back end. I kind of agree with the rating on Untappd. It's not.
What did it have?
3.57.
All right, so just a 3.5.
Yeah,
it's just a standard drinking beer.
Yeah, good drinking beer. I don't think it's anything to write home about. No offense, Ethereal, but.
We had Ethereal on a couple weeks ago, and they hit it out of the park.
Yeah,
with,
for sure.
Tanisha, I think she brought us an Ethereal.
Yeah,
beer.
what was that?
I forget. It was really good, though.
I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I believe this probably is an older can that we've had laying around, too, so that probably has something to do with it. You got
Where's the expiration date?
It's probably expired. Is there?
It doesn't say on here anywhere, no.
Well,
it's good, though.
Nevertheless, it's a solid drinking beer. Can't complain too much about that. Before we get into our serious topics, plural, of the day, we do have a special guest on the podcast this week. My wife, Mrs. Cait Santefort.
I was going to say, you're sleeping, aren't you?
It's still, coffee hasn't hit. I know it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but the coffee hasn't hit. Cait, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and why you're here today?
Yeah, so I am married to the infamous Tyler.
I'm sorry.
I have very few complaints about that one.
Wait, so you do have a few, though?
Sure, everybody does.
Okay, good. We're going to get into that in the next episode.
Professionally, I am in safety and HR. Quite a few privacy issues with discussing that as my area of expertise, so we won't get into that. We'll kind of go the opposite way and talk about the irrational and the weird today. All
right. Irrational and weird is what we like. So yeah, Cait here. If any of our regular listeners know that Cait is, she's our ghost friend. She likes to go ghost hunting, and she's always planning the next ghost hunting trip. So that's going to be the kind of theme today. We don't have like one specific question that we're going to explore. We're going to kind of explore several different, I guess we'll call them like supernatural ideas, thoughts, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, how's that sound?
Yeah, kick us off there, buddy.
So yeah, all right. So the first one we're going to go into is we just wanted to get, well, let's just start with a basic question here. Do you believe in ghosts? Let's just start it off with either yay or nay. Or do you believe in spirits like I don't want to say like the afterworld in terms of religion, but like the afterworld in terms of like there could be spirits.
Like energies that, kind of linger after death kind of thing.
Yeah. Taking religion out of it.
Yeah, religion out of it. Personally, I don't know. I'm pretty open to the subject. I like to look at things objectively. If I had to put a yes or no answer on it, I would say I probably swing slightly more towards yes than no.
Okay.
But in the grand scheme of things, I do not know 100%. So
that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to stick with my my placement of my answer.
All right, Cait, where are you at on it?
Yeah, I definitely believe in spirits and ghosts. I definitely did not when I was younger.
Okay, why? Why didn't you when you were younger? Was it religious? Was it?
No, I'd say I've always been more of a practical thinker, and
gotcha.
It's something unexplainable. But as I got older, I just kind of got into the stories more, and then as I got into those, I got into more other people's experiences, maybe some proof, and here I am ghost hunting.
All right, so that's fair. So you're a definitive yes.
Yes.
How about you?
You're a kind of on the edge yes.
Yes.
I think I'm closer to you. Surprisingly, a lot of people probably think I'm science man, so I'm always like, give me the facts or it's not true. But I think there are some facts out there in relation to like spirits and things not being able to be explained, but actually happening. So yeah, I think I lean towards yes, that there's definitely some sort of I don't know, call it in between death and I don't know wherever spirits go after they go, if they go, I don't know.
Sure.
That yeah, there can be some sort of in between where you just kind of linger on this earth for whatever reason.
And one thing I wanted to bring up, and there's countless TV shows, articles online, whatever. You could find whatever information you want regarding, spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. You never really see, things said about, people who have lived a, happy life and were, everything was flowers and rainbows, and then they passed away and now they haunt some building. So I think
there's always somebody who's had some sort of turmoil,
some kind of trauma, some kind of, negative thing that happened, maybe a sudden death, a tragic death, something like that. So in regard, I say that to say, it kind of makes sense if you think about it like, okay, maybe there is an energy that still lingers because they feel like they have unfinished business or don't have closure or something like that. So I definitely can subscribe to that kind of logic.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Cam, you mentioned taking religion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's always necessary.
No, you might be right.
Because there's plenty of cultures and religions that have
that's a good point.
Their own references. It's referenced in the Bible. We talk about the Holy Spirit. Maybe that's something in that energy realm.
Yeah, no, you could be right 100%. Because, we don't really have many of these religions in the U.S. per se. There's probably some, like Wiccan and things like that. But there's like I'm thinking of African tribes where they believe in like you have to do certain things to the body, otherwise they get stuck in this kind of mid-between.
Rituals,
things like
stuff
that.
like that.
So yeah, I guess we can't take religion out of it because it is probably very closely linked.
I think you're right. I think a lot of it is rooted in religion in some cultures for sure.
I think so. All right, so we're all kind of on the same page. We're all leaning yes. So let's. Anybody have any personal stories related to like some sort of what you might consider to be paranormal experience?
I'm gonna let Cait field that one because I feel like she probably has some more interesting stories than I have.
Same.
But I like me personally, I don't.
There's never been a time when you're like, oh, what the heck was that? You weren't quite sure.
There's been a couple times, and I think they're probably the same experiences that Cait had. But I'm just gonna kick it over to Cait.
Let's let Cait talk about this. I want to hear her stories.
So my first, I think that was a ghost story, was actually a couple years ago when Tyler and I took a trip to Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Notorious for being haunted.
Yes, we actually got engaged on that trip. And Tyler surprised me with a ghost tour at the Sorrel Weed House, famously haunted. Tons of stories at that place. I highly recommend. It's a great tour. But I'm always a practical skeptic first before I jump to ghost. But as we were going through the tour, they guided us down to the basement. People were still getting settled. Some of the group was still coming down. And I glanced over at the corner. They've got this weird red light shining down. And just past that, I saw a solid black figure walk past that window.
Could you make out like a face?
No, it was solid black, just outline of a big man. And I kind of inched closer to Tyler because it immediately gave me goosebumps. And about 30 seconds later, when our tour guide started getting into the stories down there, she talked about Shadow Man that people see in that corner where they have the red light, just for emphasis. And that was right behind where she said people see him. So.
Nice. So you saw Shadow Man.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What was his story? Do you remember?
I think they think he was a Confederate soldier. They had a lot of war injuries treated there, kind of in the center of some battlegrounds. So they had a lot going on at that location.
Shadow Man. So, and Savannah's known for being like one of the hubs for hauntings in the U.S.
I think it's I think it is labeled the most haunted city
Is
in
it?
America.
That
If
doesn't
not,
surprise me.
if not, it's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you saw something there. Did you have anything anywhere else?
In that building,
Or just in general?
I did get a feeling in another room in the basement. I was just very uncomfortable with a door next to me. I did not want to be by it. And after the tour guide finished her spiel about that room, I asked, what does that door go to? She said it goes to the breezeway, which was the temporary morgue because they had too many bodies
Oh, nice.
to deal with. So
Nice. And you just got some weird, like, vibes coming off of it?
yeah, I did not want to be by that door.
I don't blame you. Okay. What do you got?
No, I'm just thinking. I try to look at things objectively, and
Agreed. You try to look for an explanation first.
yeah, and I feel like, and I wanted to actually bring this up in this episode. The human brain is incredibly powerful, and especially when you're put into that setting, like you're going into an establishment that's notoriously haunted. It's not this bright lit, warm fuzzy room. Like
No.
it's very industrial, raw, old. So it's like the creepy factor, not even hearing the stories, like the creepy factor is already in your head.
Of course.
So I do think that when you put yourself in that situation, it does kind of heighten your senses, and your brain like goes 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And because it's like you pay money to go on these tours. You kind of do want to see something,
you want
right?
to feel, you want to get your money's worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying one way or the other, but I'm just saying I think there is, and funny enough, Sorrel Weedhouse has a Facebook page that's like Sorrel Weedhouse Evidence, and people post all sorts of stuff that they've taken pictures of and whatever, and Sorrel Weedhouse actually goes through those and tries to explain them, and when they can't, they actually take those and like incorporate it into their
nice.
their tours and stuff like that. So, and 99% of the stuff on there, even to the untrained person, you're like, okay, that's just a crappy picture or something like that. But all that to say, I'm just saying, I think the mind is a very powerful thing.
The psychology
and
of
I
it.
think it can trick you into maybe seeing things or experiencing things that you wouldn't ordinarily do given completely normal circumstances.
So it's funny that you mentioned that you want to see something when you're paying for a tour like that. I was at a point where I was just into the stories, and I remember thinking, I don't want to see something.
Really? See, if I'm doing it, I want you to scare the shit out of me.
I wanted the spooky stories, but I didn't want
Yeah.
anything to freak me out
That's
at
fair.
that point.
All right, so let's talk about the psychology then, because you guys know that's what I do. I talk about physiology, so there is a bit of physiology to kind of explain both kind of the like the physical and the emotional reaction. So obviously, when we sense danger, we that sense of danger triggers adrenaline, right? We all know what adrenaline is. It's your fight or flight response. So when we intentionally try to seek out those things, in a roundabout way of looking at it, we're intentionally trying to seek out a bit of a high. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing with
It's like
bungee jumping,
anything.
skydiving.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're kind of after an adrenaline rush.
So
Maybe
do you think that could sway you potentially?
I think it 100% could sway you.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not personally an adrenaline junkie, so I don't think that was my mindset going into it.
Okay.
I was with Cait. I wasn't expecting to see anything.
No, you were thinking it was a good time. Spend a few hours, get some stories.
I kind of go into those kind of situations neutral and try to, just absorb what I can and just evaluate my experiences afterwards. But no, I'm sure some people, do find it thrilling and probably seek that out.
It's like that. What's that hospital? Waverly? Is it Waverly Hills? I think there's a hospital somewhere. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted hospitals in the U.S. And like I don't know if they still do this or if this was just a made up thing I've made up in my brain or heard before. But you used to, like, if you could stay there overnight, you would win like a certain prize money or something like that.
Oh, it's one of those things, yeah.
Sorrel Weedhouse actually has a tour option to ghost hunt through the night.
Would you do that?
Probably.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like adrenaline.
I think it would take the right circumstances because that place creeped me out a little bit. I'd have to get myself in the right mindset to do it with objectiveness like I do with our current ghost hunts.
I'm kind of on the mindset too. Like I'm naturally curious about it. I like trying to discern the information for myself, but at the same time, I'm kind of the mindset, do you know what you're fucking around with kind of a
And
thing.
see, my thought. All right, so let's go an offshoot of that then. Do you think spirits can hurt you? I don't. That's why That's why in the back of my mind, I'm not like like I said. I think I'm on the edge of believing that there is some sort of in between. But I don't think they can physically cause me harm. Mentally, maybe mental anguish for sure, because obviously the mind plays a lot of games. But I don't think like physically they could cause me harm. What do you think?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I know what you know what you see on TV, and you hear stories of people like coming out with scratches and stuff on themselves.
Like what is it, the Bloody Mary, where you're supposed to say that in a mirror 3 times or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't subscribe to that at all.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think there's a bunch of stuff online where people claim that they come out of those kinds of things with scratches or marks or something of that nature. Do I personally believe? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
All right, Cait, where are you at on it?
I think it's possible. So I look at it as, any spirits that we're trying to communicate with or find during our ghost hunts is just a person.
Why can't I get haunted by a prostitute who wants to do this?
I think the majority of human spirits, it would take a significant amount of energy for them to interact, let alone hurt somebody.
All right, you said this word energy. Like, what do you mean when you say energy?
Just the force that it would take to move something in the real world.
So you think that spirits can like physically like knock over my chair?
Possibly.
Okay.
I think it would be very rare.
I mean, we've obviously heard lots of stories like that where they can happen, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely not seeking out anything that wasn't a human before.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with any of that.
If they can realistically knock over a chair, knock your cup off a table, could they not potentially harm you, I suppose?
And my thought is if they're interacting that strongly, they're probably just trying to get noticed.
Do you think that's what it comes down to? Like Tyler kind of alluded to at the very beginning, like there's some sort of a trauma. Maybe they can get attention. Maybe they died young, whatever it is.
Maybe they want answers.
You think that's what it comes down to? Is that they're stuck because they didn't have closure in their actual life in some way, shape, or form?
I think that's very possible.
I can see that.
I mean, I don't think anyone truly knows, but yeah, I think and maybe that's a way that we're doing mental gymnastics to kind of apply logic to something we don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, with the physical touch and stuff like that, I feel like that takes, I agree with Cait. I feel like it takes a lot, but I also feel like, if you come out with like scratches or something like that, you're probably doing something fairly aggressive, like trying to stir it up to begin with, maybe not coming from a point of, respect or reverence or something like that, but you are on a mission to get the most clerical evidence you can, and maybe you're saying some things that are, disrespectful or, piss them off or something like that.
Of course. And just like if you were to do that to that person in real life, they're going to fight back, right?
Sure.
If they were actually living. So that makes sense. So how do you, are you guys ghost hunt? So how do you approach that then? How do you like go into a ghost hunt? Like if you're looking for a specific spirit, person, thing?
So we do start off with a prayer.
Okay.
Like I said, we don't want to mess with anything that's not human.
Gotcha.
So we do a prayer of protection.
Wait. All right. Sorry. So do you think there's non-human spirits too?
I think it's possible.
All right. That's fair.
I mean,
I hadn't considered
the Bible
that.
talks about demons.
That's true. I hadn't considered it. So yeah, maybe you're right. All right.
So we start with the prayer of protection. We start out, so basically we just try to communicate with something that might be there. So we start out, hey, we're here as friends. We're just here to see if anybody's here that wants to talk with us, needs help, needs answers, anything like that. So that's how we started out. Just trying to
basically
open up
that you're not there to be harmful, to be negative in any way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we tell them, we're holding weird equipment. It's not going to hurt you at all. feel free to interact with it.
Okay. All right. I like it. So you're trying to put yourself in a good place that way you don't end up with scratches if that's physically possible.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. We're not in the seek evidence goal so hard that we're going to egg anything on.
Yeah, you just kind of want to see, is there something there? Is there
Yeah.
some way we can communicate with it in some way, shape, or form? Have you ever done a Ouija board?
Hell no.
No?
Mm-mm.
Scare you?
No, I don't want to do that.
Really?
Well, you just hear stories about crazy things happening with that. And
Have you ever done one, Tyler?
No, I have not.
All right. Fair.
That's one of those, that goes back to my previous point. It's
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to push your luck kind of thing?
yeah, it's like, I don't know, and I don't want to fuck around with this and find out.
That's fair. All right. That's fair.
Maybe that's an irrational. I suppose someone could say that's irrational for someone who doesn't believe at all with that. I mean, even in the scientific community, like you could, I'm sure someone can explain like, no, this isn't possible because of these scientific reasons. But at the same time, it's like humans don't know everything about everything. So
there's obviously lots of unexplained things.
there's arguments on both sides.
Yeah. All right. So no Ouija boards. We're getting one.
Nope.
Merry Christmas.
we'll burn it next time we're here.
All right. Any last thoughts on like the kind of the ghost aspect of it before we kind of move on to the second, or just the spirit or anything?
No, I don't think I have anything further to add on this one.
Cait, what do you got?
I guess just to plug our ghost hunting group. If anybody has something weird going on and they want our group of friends to come in, we are amateurs, but we are very respectful. If you want us to try to see what's going on, we'll do our best.
Yeah, just shoot us a message at Loggers and Loudmouth. We'll get you in touch with Cait, and you can hopefully go on a ghost hunt. I don't go with them because I'm a big baby, and it scares me, and I don't like the idea of messing with something I don't understand.
Is that why you've bailed on them so far?
Yes, I don't like the idea of messing with something I don't understand. I like to understand things, and I can't understand it. So,
well, you can watch The Boy, and Tiff can come with us.
Listen, try to convince her. You can try. All right, let's move on to kind of staying in this, I guess, world of supernatural. Let's move on to your favorite urban legend. You have one?
Skip me. I got to figure mine out.
Okay, you want to go first?
So I do love the alien encounter stories, but we're going to talk more aliens in a little bit, so I'm going to go with a different one.
That's a nice prequel.
I'm actually going to stick with ghosts for a minute. So I was watching, very fittingly, Unsolved Mysteries. And one of the episodes was about a tsunami in, and I apologize if I don't pronounce this right, Ishinomakai?
We're about to get a shit ton of emails from Ishinomakai about your pronunciation.
Yeah, that's my best guess. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I watched that episode, so I don't remember how they pronounced it. In 2013, they had a 9.0 tsunami that killed about 20,000 people. And I've actually worked for a Japanese company, so I know that generally speaking, they're a pretty no-nonsense culture. So an entire city believing in the ghosts after that event really piqued my interest. There's hundreds and hundreds of stories of people that lost their lives in that tsunami. One of the ones that stands out the most to me is taxi drivers, after that happened, would pick up a customer, start towards their destination, start their cab fare, and then they would just disappear from the back seat.
Oh, nice.
And
That's creepy.
Cab drivers actually would have to pay their company that fare because
there's nobody
they
there.
can't just leave it on the books. So I think it's interesting that there's actual proof with that cab fare that somebody was there and disappeared.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just Googling in here. There's some other ones, mysterious knocks. People reported hearing mysterious knocks at the doors from wet figures who wouldn't speak.
Mm-hmm. And that many people with such a violent, unexpected end, you would think would leave a lot of spirit energy of some sort. So, but that entire city kind of embracing that is really what stood out to me, given typical Japanese culture being very
very reserved, and very practical. Okay, I'm just looking it up. 6,000 people died. Okay, so
in that city alone, I think it was 6,000 total. I think it was 20,000.
Okay, that's crazy. All right, I hadn't heard that one. That's a new one for me. So I'm going to have to, I've just found the Unsolved Mysteries episode. I'm going to have to watch it.
Yep.
All right, Tyler, what's your favorite urban legend?
Yeah, so I think this plays off of some conversation that we're going to have later in the podcast, but Area 51 housing alien corpses and bodies and things like that.
All right.
I think I'm a subscriber to that. We were talking about this a little bit before the episode. I think everyone's familiar with Area 51, secret military base, maybe not so secret anymore, out in Nevada. And I believe they make experimental aircraft for the military, things of that nature. But that place is locked down like crazy. And there's been, I've watched a lot of documentaries on it because that's something that really fascinates me. And I don't have any clear evidence on it, but it's something I like to believe in. So
All right.
I think Area 51's got alien bodies.
What are you in the same boat?
Possible.
Possible. I think I'm with you. I think that Area 50, they're hiding something. Why would they be so? I mean, I get it. Their government's always secretive about something, but why would they be so secretive about that? And what's to be gained or not gained? That actually plays off of my my conspiracy theory in a bit. All right, my favorite urban legend is the Mothman. We've all heard of the Mothman,
Yeah.
right? The movie came out in the early 2000s about it, the Mothman prophecies. But basically, the initial story started back in the late 60s when a couple of couples reported seeing this giant winged figure with beady red eyes in the middle of the night. And then it kind of went on for several years, and then kind of the pinnacle of it was when this bridge collapsed and killed, I think, like 45 people. And several people reported seeing the Mothman on that bridge not long before the bridge collapsed. So they kind of tied it back to him. And they still celebrate it. Now they actually have a Mothman statue in the middle of their town, which seems like a terrible idea.
Wasn't that near Chicago?
No, it's actually West Virginia. So it's
okay. I know there's some.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
I know there's some stories
Is
near
there-
Chicago too. There's a Unsolved Mysteries episode on that, so you got to get into that.
Okay, I've never watched Unsolved Mysteries, but I'm gonna have to now. So yeah, that's kind of my favorite one, just because, and I think the main reason I like it is my baseball coach was in high school. He was all about it for some reason.
Really?
I have no idea why. So that's when I remember hearing about it. So it's just kind of probably my favorite outside of Bigfoot. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big Sasquatch believer, but
Do you really believe in Sasquatch?
I want to.
Of course, everybody wants to, but I wanted to pick Sasquatch, but I don't actually believe in it. I like to try to believe in it, and I like the culture and the story and
Do
all
you
the-
believe Sasquatch more than Mothman?
Yes. I think that's a more applicable story.
What about you, Cait? Do you think Mothman or Sasquatch is more realistic?
I don't know. My dad is probably the most logical person I've ever known, and he thinks he saw something squatchy one time. So
like it.
I got to go with that because he's not a believer in any of that kind of stuff.
But he believes in Sasquatch.
He thinks he saw
All right.
something that could have been.
This is up where you guys used to live, up back home.
No, I think that's when he was traveling in Georgia.
Okay. All right. So we got him close. Nice. We need to go on a hunt. Forget your ghost hunts. We're going on a Squatch hunt. I feel like they're going to be nice. We give them a bad rap. They just don't want to be found.
Oh, they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Hide and seek world champs.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of shit. I like the stickers on the back of the
Yeah.
cast and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Hide
you
and
know?
seek. I mean, I've got
Sitting right next to a Yeti sign.
Yeah, I got a Yeti sign down here. I got a rock on my desk at work that's got a Sasquatch
I've
engraved
got a
on it.
Sasquatch on my back truck window.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shout
You have a Sasquatch tattooed on
that's
your
a good
leg.
point. I got a Sasquatch.
Shout out to Mary Lou, got Tyler a Sasquatch wind chime for his birthday.
Nice. It's sitting up on your porch.
No, it's sitting.
It's sitting on our chandeliers.
Nice. I like that even better. Now, if you know that starts, you hear that in the middle of the night, could be a spirit.
That's one thing we never heard. Is that thing's never gone off by
No.
itself
Yet.
yet.
We're
Well,
gonna-
we tell everything to stay where they are and not come with us.
Well, what
so.
if you ask it tonight? Say, hey, can you give us a sign? Just
I don't think there's anything going on in our house.
no.
Nah.
You don't
Nah.
think it has like some sort of outward, like if you just say it, you can get like a 5-mile radius kind of thing.
I don't think it works like
I
Wi-Fi.
don't either. I don't either. But maybe
Send out the bat signal.
send out the bat signal for any sort of premonition. All right, so let's finish up this discussion with superstitions. Talk about just superstitions. Do you have any weird any at all, or why do you think people like or have superstitions?
I think a lot of superstition is rooted in OCD.
Yeah, coping
to be fair.
mechanisms.
Yes. I wouldn't say I'm a superstitious person at all. I think one thing that I do in my life with no logic involved at all, is the walking under a ladder thing.
You won't do it?
If I have the option to not, I will go out of my way to not walk under a ladder. I have no idea why.
I mean, speaking as the safety lady, that's just not getting hurt.
I was going to say, I'm the opposite. If I see a ladder, I'm like, all right, I'm testing fate today.
I mean, I don't even know why. I'm not superstitious or anything like that, but I don't know.
What about breaking a mirror? Do you think that would, do you believe that brings 7 years bad luck?
No. It's just
a pain in the ass.
Just a shit, because, you got to step on glass for the next year.
It's just plated reflective glass.
Okay, that's fair.
If you break a window, is that 7 years bad luck?
It's not plated reflective
That's
glass.
reflective.
That's right. Okay. So is that the contingency?
I
If you
don't
could
know.
see yourself in
I
it?
didn't make
I
the
don't know.
rules. I didn't make the rules.
I think all the superstition's kind of bullshit.
So there's not like one superstition you believe in?
Not particularly,
No.
no.
All right. Okay, what about you?
I'm not very big on superstitions either. I will say the whole more crazy things happening on a full moon,
Okay.
I get, because being in safety, we tend to have more accidents
Well, ask any
And-
healthcare worker.
and weird things. Yeah, my mom's a nurse. She'll vouch for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because the moon's
It's
pulling
just
on your
the-
internal waters.
That was just the throwback to Tanisha's episode. I was just thinking that the moons are pulling my inside waters. That could be throwing things out of balance. I'm kind of with both of you. I don't know that I have any. I'm a very routine person, but I don't think that is superstitious in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing that I do that really.
I will say, if I'm saying something and I say knock on wood, I will knock on wood. But
It's just a saying.
yeah, I don't.
What about you? Ever heard the one like if your palm's itchy? Like there's
Someone's
two.
talking about you or something
No,
like that.
ears are burning. Somebody's talking about you. Your palm's itchy. It means a right palm means you're supposed to come into some money. Left palm means you're about to do the opposite, not have money.
I've never come into unexpected money and my hand itches, so I don't believe it.
I wish my hand would be more right itch. But no, that's some of the ones
Sounds
that
like-
are out there.
Sounds like more of a neurological disorder than
What about like
anything
Friday
else.
the 13th? Do you think there's anything to that?
no.
A lot of people.
No.
No.
We actually went on a ghost tour. Where were we? Charleston?
On
Oh
Friday
yeah,
the 13th?
yeah.
On Friday the 13th, we went on a
Nice.
ghost tour. Yep.
That's pretty fun. I think at the end of the day, people just like to. It's a coping mechanism. I think no matter what their superstition is, it's a way for them to cope with something. A black cat crosses in front of you, and you do. Tiff does this. You do like the 3 little X's if a black cat runs across in front of her car. Is that going to really do anything? Probably.
I think
not.
a lot of people too will do it because kind of what I said before. I don't know if this is real or not, but if this is going to keep me
That's
from
a good point. Yeah, safety. Why not?
Just in case.
What's it going to hurt to throw a little bit of salt over my shoulder if I think, other than the mess you got to clean up later.
Yeah,
No, that's true. I guess better safe than sorry is the best way to look at it.
I think that's 95% of people, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think I have any weird superstitions.
I'm trying to think of anything off the wall, but I don't know. I think it's fun to talk about. It makes for a good story, things like that. It's entertaining, but
Yeah.
do I buy into it? Not at all.
All right. Cait, final take on superstitions?
Nah.
Nothing?
No.
You don't have any that you're aware of?
No.
No, I don't think I do either. All right, let's take a quick break here. We're going to get a second beer, and when we come back, we're going to move on to our fun topic, and this one is staying along the same lines of conspiracy theories.
All right, and we're back with a brand new fresh beer. Cam, why don't you talk about the second beer we are drinking this
Ooh,
afternoon?
That is delicious. I just tasted it. Yeah, this is New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. If you know anything about New Belgium and Voodoo Ranger, they have a ton of iterations of this beer. This one is Juice Force IPA. Play on Space Force. It's a hazy IPA. It is very, very juice forward. What juice are you getting out of that?
Orange?
Like a mild orange, not like a acidic orange, but like the true flavor of orange I'm getting.
Yeah, it's really good. That's exceptional.
It's super good.
It is rated as a 3.88, so 3.9 on Untapped with over 117,000 votes. So that's a pretty good rating. Comes in at, believe it or not, even though it is a hazy IPA, only 30 IBUs. It's not super hoppy.
No,
it
not at all.
Doesn't punch you in the face with hops. It gives you more of the juice than anything. And it comes in at a nice 9.5% ABV. So we might be stuttering by the end of this one.
I'm in danger.
I'm just looking at this on Untapped, and it's like Juice Force is fruit forward, highly drinkable at
It is.
9.5%.
Which is impressive to make a beer 9.5% that tastes like a 5.
Yeah.
I mean that's New Belgium does good. And New Belgium, obviously, their main location is out of Colorado, but they do have a location close to us in Asheville, North Carolina. Check out Asheville. They're actually asking for people to come back now that they're starting to clean up from the hurricanes. I've been seeing my Instagram feed that a lot of the breweries are opening back up. So yeah, let's get over there and try to support them by being patrons and drinking their beer. What better way to support somebody? Or you can obviously donate to causes. If you want to look up one of our previous guests, Matt Wilkerson, his band Brothers Revolt. They're currently doing a little gig right now for Mountain Ways to give money to them. So look that up and then go to Asheville and start drinking some beer.
Hell yeah.
We got to plan a trip soon.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
All right, so on to our fun topic today. It's kind of staying in the same realm of topic. We're going to go into conspiracy theories.
Yes.
So basically, the premise here is each of us has a conspiracy theory that we fully believe in, and we are going to try to convince the other people of its truth. Who wants to go
I like
first? You want to take
I'll
it,
kick it
Tyler?
off, yeah.
All right.
So going off of my Area 51 comment before, aliens, love them, fully believe in them. I've kind of, I wouldn't say research, but I like to consume a lot of media from different sources on the topic just because it's interesting and, I just enjoy it. One theory that's out there and I pretty much subscribe to, I think it's a definite plausible take on it, is aliens kind of view humans and Earth kind of like humans observe like gorillas, orangutans, stuff like that. So
you think they're just kind of watching us as almost like pets?
kind of maybe not pets, but like curious about what we are and what we're doing. Like I feel like they know, in my mind, they're way more advanced than us. So they kind of know what the trajectory is of what we're doing.
Okay.
And they're just kind of like sitting,
seeing how things kind of work.
Yeah, seeing how things work, sitting idle. Maybe sometimes when they want to be seen and pique interest, they do a little, blip and, see how we react, stuff like that. One thing I've heard is that, when we develop nuclear weapons, there's been, sightings and, weird activity over nuclear sites and stuff like that. And one person's take on it was kind of like, oh, they figured out nuclear weapons. Maybe we step in and kind of, play around with this a little bit, kind of like how we would if, gorillas developed, nuclear weapons.
Some way of killing each other very easily.
Exactly, like detrimental to their own
species, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. I feel like if they want to be seen, they definitely can be seen, but they're so far advanced that they have the ability to evade our technologies as well.
All right. So the way I've always kind of thought of aliens, and actually this plays well into my topic as well, but the way I've always kind of thought of them is, that's why I said ant farm. I feel like we're an ant farm for an alien somewhere. Like we're just this, because the galaxy is, we can't fathom how large our universe is. So I feel like we're just some kids play ant farm on his desk in some alien galaxy somewhere far, far away.
I don't think that's a crazy take on
And
it.
it's kind of like you said,
Yeah.
he throws a random piece of bread into the ant farm and sees what happens, or throws in a Dorito and sees what happens.
Someone's also said that maybe humans are just a vessel for souls. Don't know what that means in the bigger scheme of things, but
So are we the aliens? Is that what you're implying?
no, but it's like everybody knows what a soul is, but nobody can actually define it, right? It's like, what is consciousness? Like not consciousness like living, but like who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
There's I think it's a book series, and they've got some movies, at least one movie, where an alien species is basically just an orb of consciousness, and they go to different planets and take over whatever species is there, and live in their host bodies.
So are we aliens right now? Is that what you're telling me? I'm an alien right now?
I don't know.
There's some sort of alien.
It's 2024. You can identify however you want.
Point. I can. I'm changing my driver's license.
Another thing I wanted to bring up too, and I don't want to, jump to 9 different conspiracy theories.
This is our podcast. We'll do
I know,
whatever the hell
right?
we want.
Oh crap! What was it? I just lost it. It was about aliens. All right, go ahead. Someone else go.
All right,
I'll
so
think about it.
I'm going to jump in here, Cait. I would let you go first. Just
Mine's
but-
along very similar lines.
So
too,
is mine, but mine is very specific to aliens, and that I fully believe. You got yours?
I finally remembered.
All right, send it.
Offshoot of mine. Maybe I've thought that maybe religion in a lot of different cultures is kind of humans' way of trying to explain the unexplained. And with kind of the rough evidence that we have at this time of, alien life or extraterrestrials or stuff like that, maybe that's kind of the bridge. Maybe religion is just our way of trying to explain the unexplained. And it's like, maybe God is the universe. Maybe,
Oh, you're getting deep here.
yeah, maybe extraterrestrial life, like unexplained things of that nature, that maybe in, however much time we humans may actually figure out, turns out to be the connection to all these things that you see in like the Bible or other religions across the world.
Yeah, because when you look at most religions, they are very closely linked. We
Right.
treat them as separate things, but they are very close in a lot of their beliefs.
And even in like ancient Egyptian civilization, there's carvings of real wacky shit that people look at today and you're like, okay, well, that looks like a human. What the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
They talk about angels being these wild creatures. Maybe that's an alien.
Yeah, I like it.
Right.
I like that. God is the universe. That might be my new religion. God is the universe.
That's kind of,
I like that.
and I'm not a religious person by any stretch of the imagination, but that's more along the lines of, I do think there is a higher
Power. Agreed.
of some sort, whether that's tangible, intangible, that's to be determined. But I think that's one way of
No, I like
explaining
that.
it.
I like that a lot. I think because I agree with you. I'm not an atheist by any stretch, but I also don't subscribe to any specific religion.
I'd
in
consider
our
myself
world.
agnostic.
Agreed. That's probably where I'd put myself as well. But I like the idea of just kind of there is some sort of higher power, and the universe is that higher power, and we're all just a part of that higher power. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. All right.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Sorry. No, good. That was a good conversation. All right. Mine is very specific to aliens, but it's a very specific type of alien, and I think they are currently inhabiting our Earth. You see
Cool.
them all the time.
I want to
Lizard
believe.
people.
Not lizard people.
Sell it to me. I want to know.
Let's
You
hear
want
about it.
Octopus.
I
I don't disagree.
I don't
All right,
disagree.
All right, so octopuses. Let me kind of give you the rundown here. I'm going to sell it to you. Obviously, in terms of like their anatomy, they have multiple brains. They have one main brain, 8 brains, one for each of their legs. That's pretty crazy. I mean, there's no other creature on Earth that has that. In terms of their DNA, so we can pretty well look at the DNA of almost any species on Earth, and we can understand it. We don't understand their DNA. It's completely different than any other type of DNA that we see on the Earth. They're shapeshifters. They're extremely intelligent for what they are. I read a book last year, or what I got it written here. It's called Soul of an Octopus, written by Cy Montgomery. Actually, I audibled this one, and she was reading it, so she did a very good job. But I would highly recommend it. You just learn a lot about them. So the one of the theories is that about what is it? I think 500 million years ago, there's this evolutionary period called the Cambrian explosion, and that I'm calling them aliens, the octopi, alien DNA, however you want to think of it, it crash landed here via a meteorite and then formed into what we think of as aliens.
I was
or
about
octopus.
I didn't
octopi.
Octopussies.
I think it's octopi is the
Okay.
plural. No, that's a
Calm
James
down,
Bond.
Tyler.
That's a James Bond movie.
No, I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring that up too. And I was actually thinking, and this is kind of a subset of that asteroid conversation, is I was thinking, okay, so the universe exists, Earth exists,
Yep.
There are things on Earth, rocks, thing like non-biological things on Earth,
Yep.
Dirt, rocks, stuff like that. Obviously, multicellular organisms had to evolve from singular cellular organisms. Yep. But, if you have a planet with nothing on it, so how do I want to say this? I'm trying to explain things I know nothing about. It's like, okay, how did the first cellular life form come to being? You know what I mean? If it wasn't already, it had to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't just pop out of nowhere.
That's a very basic chemistry.
So it's like, so in my mind, okay, maybe, hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth was just this stationary thing like, the moon or something like that. It's like, yeah, if an asteroid came in and it had some kind of cellular organism that could, thrive in the atmosphere and the resources that Earth has, maybe that is how life actually began on Earth.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it one bit. And why can't we have alien species on Earth that came from? I mean, how many asteroids, meteorites have hit this Earth?
A ton.
And its existence, yeah, literally millions.
And it's like all of those meteorites contain
something,
elements.
Yeah.
Gold, iron,
yeah.
shit like that. So that shit exists other places in.
Yeah, that's the number one rule of chemistry: is matter cannot be
created
or destroyed.
Yep.
So we all came. So I always find that I think there's a meme or a Reddit thing or something like that. When there's, I think it's like a guy and a girl on a date, and she's asking, "Hey, how old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 13 billion years old." She's like, "What?" Because matter cannot be created.
Right.
So he's
Yep.
like, "Yeah, I've been here since the beginning of time." So yeah. No, I like that explanation for it. It came from something. I mean, everything's out there in the universe, so why can't aliens be living in our waters as octopi?
And we don't know jack shit about the ocean.
We know absolutely nothing. There's so much we don't know about it, and it makes up 70% of the Earth.
I mean, they find new species all the time.
Yeah, and it makes up more of the Earth than land does by far. All right, so did I convince you? Octopi.
I was convinced before you said it.
Kate, where are you at?
I could see it.
All right, Kate, finish us off with conspiracy theories here.
All right. So I also have a very specific one about aliens, and Tyler kind of touched on some of my points. I believe that aliens are the future evolution of humans with very advanced technology that they can time travel. And
I don't want to time travel.
And they come back to study their past, essentially.
So we are their past.
Mm-hmm. So I've kind of formed this in a few questions. So what are the chances that something so similar to humans evolved completely separate as a separate species somewhere else?
Like in the universe?
Mm-hmm.
I think again, if you truly know how big the universe is.
What do you, but I want you to clarify, what do you mean so similar to humans?
Is there another human-like species out there in the universe? Human-like.
Right.
Not necessarily 100% human, but human-like.
So you're talking like little gray beings.
No, just maybe
just
even
the same shape and
pretty similar to us. Human-like.
kind of structure as
like they have in the entire universe. The
yeah,
universe is so big.
I'd probably say that the odds of that happening independently twice are ridiculously low.
Mm-hmm. So my next hypothetical question or thought question is, why do they show so much interest in the human body in times of war if it doesn't involve them? So they pop up during times of war. Maybe they're overseeing to make sure that their past isn't destroyed.
It kind of goes along with what Tyler was saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're just keeping an eye on us.
Maybe they're checking out bodies to solve diseases that pop up in their time. And
the time travel thing has me a little. It initially had me a little skeptical, but then I kind of thought, if we had the ability to time travel right now, I'd for sure go into the past and try to figure out shit that I
100%.
didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and we're thinking maybe this obviously is nowhere near our lifetime, but this could be 10,000 years from now. But now they're coming back to this specific point in time for whatever reason. I like that.
So the next one, why are they so interested in humans but don't want to interact?
I think that's a space-time continuum thing.
Yeah, I think they're trying not to change.
Yeah, history.
History.
That's what you
Like
see
that-
in every time travel movie. Is like, don't mess up.
Every jumper or whatever. Don't step on the butterfly. kind of thing.
And maybe their technology is so advanced that they have figured out how to not do that.
Kind of an I don't want to jack your time, but kind of an offshoot on that. It's like when we have quote unquote recovered items that were claimed to not be human made or made on Earth, kind of a thing. Do you think those are little breadcrumbs that they're purposely leaving?
Or
so that we discover it sooner?
Yeah, so it's like, obviously
they're trying not to mess with time, but they're trying to maybe give us a
help
little,
themselves.
Hey, maybe we crash this thing in some location,
and they can figure this out and solve this sooner.
Let's see if they can reverse engineer.
But you know what I picture in my head? They're sitting there watching. It's like, God damn it! I gave you the answers. They're right there. Why can't you figure this out?
Connect A to B, dumbass.
We can't figure it out. All right, I like that.
And then my last one is, it seems like there's been less sightings as our technology advances. Ooh. So if they've not...
Like surveillance?
Yeah, if they've not interacted with us enough to know that technology has advanced, how do they know that they need to be more careful now?
I mean, if we're going off your premise that they are time traveling and they have the ability to time travel, they knew about our technology.
They know when they need to be more careful.
I don't think sightings have gone down, though. Look at the data between 1990 and now.
Are they higher?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a ridiculous upslope from like 1800 to probably 1970. It's pretty flat, and then it starts going up and up and up, and then at 1990, it just freaking...
All right, just random offshoot question. When did Unsolved Mystery start on TV?
Do you think it was started by aliens?
No, I'm just saying. Maybe that's why people are...
and that goes back to the human psychosis, or not psychosis, the psyche and the brain, and
once you start seeing these things, and you're like, oh,
well, you try to rationalize things that you don't understand.
Yeah.
Based on how you understand your specific universe personally. So yes, I do think the majority of sightings and stuff are probably explainable.
Yeah.
Going back to the less sightings, I would say less significant sightings. Like we might see some weird lights and capture that, but we don't see a full-blown spaceship nowadays. That would go absolutely viral.
Or maybe the government's better at hiding it.
I don't know. I think somebody would post it immediately, and how are you going to take that back?
I have an alternate theory, and I fully want to believe in aliens. Like I'm 2 feet deep into the pool on that. But, and this kind of sparked my mind with the Commander David Fravor story in California when they were doing a military exercise over the ocean. I think I talked to you about this a little bit.
I think we maybe did at some point.
If Cait doesn't know, Commander David Fravor was a pilot. They were doing a training exercise over in the ocean off the coast of California. It was called the Tic Tac incident. They had pilots, record the data on their radar or whatever technology they had, and this object moved really erratically. It went from 50,000 feet to sea level in, a fraction of a second, which by our understanding of physics is impossible because it would turn any human into jello.
Yep.
There was something about that Tic Tac hovered right over the specific coordinates of what home base was, deemed in that training exercise. So that was kind of weird. All that to say, is that extraterrestrial? Not out of the realm of possibility, but if the United States has developed this proprietary breakthrough in propulsion or, physics or something like that, I think it would be kind of interesting if I was in charge of that program, is to take that piece of newly developed equipment and throw it into a training exercise with the military, with the best equipment that's available, without them knowing, to see how the military and how the equipment actually reacts to a real world example of that, piece of technology actually operating.
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to my throwing bread in the ant farm.
Yes.
So they're just trying to.
But I'm saying the government may have that.
Oh, okay.
It might not be, we might be labeling it as extraterrestrial, but I wouldn't put it past the government to say, holy shit, we got this thing that'll revolutionize how we travel.
But we don't want to just throw it out there.
Exactly. We're going to
Gotcha.
keep it secret even to the military.
See how our military reacts before we use
Oh,
it somewhere else.
I 100% believe they're hiding shit. Like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just waiting for the right time. If the right time presents itself to, I guess, get it out into the open.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fair. So good. Tell us your favorite conspiracy theories in the comments section, or send us an email. Tell us what you believe in and what you do not believe in, and who sold the story best, Tyler, Cait, or I, on terms of the aliens. All right, with that being said, we are at the end of our episode, but we do not end an episode without hot takes.
Hot takes.
That's so hot.
So hot. Bacon.
Take it away, Cam.
I've got two.
All right, give.
My first one's short and sweet.
Okay.
So Tiff and I just got back from a camping trip, and we were at a place where we had zero cell phone signal, and it was glorious. I think we all need to do that on a regular basis. Not necessarily go camping, but 100% disconnect to where you don't turn off your phone airplane mode for at least a full 24 hours.
Yeah, I think that'd do
It's
a lot
funny.
of
We
good.
were talking this morning, and I was like, I dreamed like 4 times last night. I never remember my dreams.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I think because I was less stimulated throughout the day by a screen, that maybe my brain made more actual.
I think it was because the 5G wasn't seeping into your brain.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
interrupting your
That's a
waves.
Good point. And I was up on a hill, so so that's my first hot take.
Okay. Got one, Cait?
Yeah. So going with our theme of the supernatural, being a skeptical believer, I encourage everybody to not just jump to the conclusion that it's supernatural. If you experience something weird, try to logic through it before you jump to that conclusion. But also keep an open mind that that kind of stuff could be out there.
I like it.
Solid.
That's just good life advice. Not even just supernatural advice. Just keep a goddamn open mind.
All right. My hot take, completely different. I really wish companies would develop products not based off of profitability, but off of the absolute best design for that specific item.
You're going to have to elaborate.
Okay. So take cars, for example.
Yep.
Cars back in the day, obviously they were a little bit simpler and everything like that. Cars are a lot more advanced today, but it's not a good business decision to put a product out there that somebody is going to have to buy once and never buy again. I personally try to buy everything
Quality.
as close to that as I can. But it's like, if you purposely design something to fail at X amount of time after purchase, so somebody has to purchase another one, I don't love that.
Think about cell phones.
Exactly.
What are they going to last you 3-4 years at best?
Dude,
if
I
you
keep
take
my
care
cell
of
phone
it?
forever.
I try to, but you obviously with technology they get slower, and I think they're intentionally designed to maybe last you 2-3 years.
Yeah,
Guess what?
at a certain point, they cut off your software updates.
Exactly.
Right.
You've
Exactly.
you've paid it off after your 36 months installment if you do that. They're like, oh well, time to get a new one. Let's downgrade his technology.
And don't get me wrong, I understand the business aspect.
Of course,
It's-
it is a
it's-
business.
It's a smart business tactic, but as a consumer, fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
I'll pay 3 times more for something that I'll never have to buy again. And people just don't design stuff like that anymore, or it's very, very rare.
You're right.
Mhm.
And it's like, if it were me and I started a company, I'd want to design something obviously you want to make money, but I want to design it first and foremost for the end user, and the profitability comes second. And if it gets to a point where that product is no longer, being profitable for me, I'll design a new product in the same exact way and just keep running that cycle.
New iterations of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that. And then you're 100% right. I mean, let's ask any person who's over the age of 50. they don't make shit like they used to, and they're 100% right.
I think you see that in tools too.
A lot in tools, yeah.
Yeah.
You buy a hammer these days, it's going to break after a year, but
Right.
your granddad still has the one he bought in 1943.
Yeah. I have my grandfather's hammers in my basement right now.
Exactly.
Fucking great.
But I've probably gone through 10 hammers since then. 'Cause
Right.
I'm cheap and I buy the cheap one.
Sure.
I finally bought a good one, but
Oh, proud of you.
I know.
I'll show you how to use it later.
Please, I need to. All right, I'm going to finish this off with one more hot take. It's a little bit longer, so this one's, I always like to bring in a little bit of self-reflection here. So this one actually comes from a study that was done in, I think it was 1977 by Robert Kleck at Dartmouth. But basically, he did an experiment with a bunch of undergrad students, all females, and what he did is he told them that they were going to have a large scar painted on their face, and then they would basically be engaging in a series of interviews. So he put the scar on there, had them look in the mirror. They saw the scar. So there's some with the scar, some without the scar. They engaged in these interviews, and the ones who thought they had the scar had been removed. They basically had this victim mentality. So they thought, even though the scar did not exist, that the person who was interviewing them was more harsh, that they were more negative towards them because of their appearance.
So they said they had a scar on them, but they
had-
actually didn't. So in their head, they
thought it was
thought
there.
they was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, and the whole premise behind this study was that we kind of build our own victim mentality. That most of the time, people don't really care. We put way too much stock into what other people think when at the end of the day, they really don't care. People are more concerned about their self. That's just human nature. That's not a negative or a positive. It's just human nature. We care about ourselves mostly. And I think this experiment did a pretty good job of showing that. So,
Yeah, that's
well,
super interesting.
Yeah,
I believe that 100% too.
Yeah. And so, that's my takeaway is just let's not try to be victims in any way, shape, or form. We shape basically everything, how we think about ourselves. And when you start putting that out in there, I think it just kind of sends bad vibes all around. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's my hot take.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that's a good way to put a bow on this. We appreciate Cait for being a guest on the podcast today. I'm sure she will return in future episodes.
Definitely.
Thank you for listening to episode 27 of Loggers and Loudmouths. Please share it with your friends, family, coworkers, everybody you know.
Your drunk uncle.
Yeah, exactly. We don't discriminate. We just need listeners. So until next time, guys, be safe. Cheers, and we appreciate y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to Loggers and Loudmouths. Be sure to never miss an episode by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast streaming service. If you would like to provide feedback or suggest a topic for a future episode, please reach out to us at loggersandloudmouths@gmail.com.